Yo, what's up? Welcome to Numbers with Jacari. I'm your host, Jacari, and in this episode, we're talking about the number 3 in 2024 because there's some cute themes for you this year. So if you are a number 3, you have a psychic 3, meaning you're born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th, or you have a 3 somewhere in your numbers. So if you're born like also on the 13th or even on the, did I say the 31st? I meant the 30th, but also the 31st is relevant. But either way, if you have a 3 in your numbers anyway, and that psychic number, that destiny number, which is also your life path number, your name number, you're in a personal 3-year, in whatever system that you're using, I recommend using multiple systems. So take that all into account, and we're going to talk about it in this episode. So if you're liking what you're hearing, make sure you share it on your socials and tag me at Numbers with Jacari on Instagram or TikTok. I do have services if you're interested in those, so go ahead and check that out. Book your consult right now, and we can chat it up and see what your numbers hold for you, as well as whatever you're trying to achieve. Numbers can definitely help you with that. I recommend you listen to all the episodes of the numbers. I do know that there's 9 of them, so it's a lot, but you ain't got to listen to them right now because the themes ain't going nowhere. But I do recommend listening to all the episodes. Now, I will say for number 3 specifically, I would also recommend listening to the number 8. That would be a very good episode for you to listen to because there's some similarities between your numerology that are interesting. So I'd say check that episode out as well. But if you're liking what you're hearing, did I already say that? I think I did. Yeah, follow me and let's go ahead and get into this. So the number 3 is not only ruled by Jupiter, but it's also ruled by, Mars and also Venus. So this is their, woo, oh my gosh, the tongue tie. Anyways, this is a very intense creativity, passion, love of art, expansion, space, but also at the same time, when this number is personified in something like a psychic number, can bring high levels of introversion and social anxiety. A lot of the 3s that I've not only worked with, but know personally, don't really be messing around with people too much. They have their little people. They have like 3 people that they're like, yep, I can stand you. I can mess with you, but the rest of y'all gotta go. So those brings up those themes for you this year. So this is social spaces, this is expansion, this is luck, this is creativity, this is optimism, this is mental, your mentality, the way that you think about things, the way you perceive things, the space around you, not even just social spaces, but the external space that's surrounding you and the way that you're interacting with those things. So those are things that are going to be dominant for you in this year of 8, but as a number 3 or having 3 dominant in your numbers. But the rest of the themes are very interesting to me because there's a very strong emphasis around relationships for you this year. This is romantic, this is platonic, this is all types of relationships, familials also in there. All types of relationships are strongly emphasized this year. Now, this, I will not say whether it's good or bad because dualities and everything, it can go both ways. This means you could be gaining family members or gaining friends or gaining more relationships. This also means that you might lose some people. So there's a lot of different ways that this can go. I can definitely give a clearer answer with personal numerology, but that's a very large part of this 8-year for you. There's also an emphasis around new business, new career, new job endeavors and things around that sort. So if you're thinking about popping some shit off this year, I say go for it. I'm not mad at it. And it also brings in work relationships as well. So who are you working with? Do you actually enjoy the people that you're sharing this workspace with? And if you do, okay, great. If you don't, what do you want to change about it? And even if you do, is there anything that you want to change or make better or make smoother or run better, whatever the case may be? Is there anything that you want to change in that? Because the theme or for the number 3 is change. So is there anything that you want to change? And if there is, what is that? And what does it look like to achieving that? Now, if you listen to the number 1 in 2024, I talked a little bit about the fact that change is like something that happens sometimes, and you really just gotta take that leap to do those things. But also with your natural energy as a 3 being so ambitious, you want to get things done a lot quicker, and with this 8 energy, it moves a lot slower. So I would recommend checking out the book The 12-Week Year. That's been something that I've been seeing a lot in the content that I've been consuming. So if that helps you in regards to getting a better concept of what you want to achieve in this 8th year, I would recommend checking that out because it basically breaks down the year into 12 weeks instead of having however many weeks. I'm not about to do math in my head. however many weeks it is in a full 365-day year. I think we have 366 days this year, but however many days in a year, how many ever weeks in a year, it sort of kind of shrinks it down, and it has you getting sort of kind of feeling, at least you're getting more out of your year. So I'd say check that out, because with that emphasis around relationships and also business, career, and job, if you want to shake something up, because also it puts you in a position where if you want to start a new endeavor in regards to a business, if you want to open a business, that's something that could shake this year, and could also be emphasized this year. Because also when I'm speaking about all of these themes, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to go towards these things. It doesn't mean that you have to get a new job, or that you will automatically end up with a new job. You just might end up with a new person at your job. You might have to do something new at the job that you're currently at, or you might get a promotion. There's different ways that these things can show up. It's not always so, oh yeah, you're gonna get a new job this year. Every psychic 3, every person who has the number 3 dominant in their numbers for this year is gonna experience something new. And no, it's just a relationship with it. It's not always that blatant or exact even. Again, this is general information. So there's also an emphasis around new stability and foundations, and also confidence. So if you have been working on yourself this year, or even rather, this year and also last year, years prior, that also can carry over into this year of, okay, we're seeing all the work that we're putting in actually pay off, and we're also getting to see new perspectives of ourselves. That's another thing that comes up, is self-perspective for the number 3 this year. So thinking about your views of yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you think about yourself, and the relationship that you want to cultivate with yourself. With relationships being such a very big theme for the number 3, I would recommend, if you're okay with it, dating yourself this year. That doesn't mean that if you are in a relationship that you have to stop dating the person that you're dating or get a divorce or any of those things. No, we're not jumping to those conclusions. I just want you to spend intentional, intimate time with yourself. That with that emphasis around relationships, it's also putting you in a position to reframe your perception around relationships if you feel like you want to reframe them, or you might be put in a position where those things are reframed, or you get a new perspective on those things in your own life, of either something that is said or something that is done, and it puts you in a position where you're like, relationships, thoughts. It puts you in a little bit of a vibe of that. There's also an emphasis around pleasure and sensory stimulation that comes up for you this year. So I want you to very much indulge in the things that do feel good this year, but also that doesn't mean to not push yourself past your comfort zone. There's going to be some big leaps for you this year with the relationality between 3 and 8. So with that being the case, it can bring a sense of overwhelm and uncertainty in regards to what is going on. So I want you to be able to spend that intentional time indulging in pleasure, indulging in intimacy with self, and also intimacy with other people that you do enjoy, and other spaces that you enjoy, whether this is going out dancing, or just having a very nice conversation with somebody that you love, or watching one of your favorite shows or a movie. Indulging in that pleasure, very much so, and seeing how that ties into that sensory stimulation. And this is all of your senses, really just seeing, okay, I want this type of feeling, I want this type of feeling. And also just working with your relationship with your feelings is also something else. Now, this does bring a difficulty around uncertainty, like I said, but it also does bring with so many big changes, hypothetically changing in regards to your career and your job, it can also bring imposter syndrome. So you might not feel like you're always qualified for the things that you're, the opportunities that are presented to you. So I would say one of the biggest suggestions for you this year would, if the opportunity presents itself, and you like what it's looking like, take it. Okay? Take it. This is that confirmation for you. Take the leap. If the opportunity presents itself, take it. Okay? Because that imposter syndrome isn't always right. You know why? It's an imposter. It's an imposter, babe. She don't know what she doing. She a liar. She a fake. She a fraud. Trust the opportunity, okay? Because your name is already in rooms that you're hoping to be in. You don't even know even exist for some of them. So let that opportunity come to you and take it if it feels like something that you want to do, okay? You're here to experience. So experience some stuff. There's also an emphasis around overcompensation and overindulgence. So I want you to be able to understand your relationship with boundaries and your relationship with limits, and how you are regulating yourself in regards to what you're indulging in, and also how you might be compensating for things that you don't need to necessarily compensate for, and how you're also being compensated. So those things are also things. So I would put an emphasis around trusting yourself and being honest about how capable you are. And also, when you hit these spots of uncertainty and feeling like you gotta, just impulsively do something, okay, maybe not. Maybe not just don't go this way. Let's make a hard left. No, baby, we are on the highway right now. There's no turns on the highway that are sharp lefts. Okay. I want you to, when in doubt or when in uncertainty, create, move, and change your environment. And that changing an environment can just be going to another room, getting some fresh air, looking outside, putting your phone down, picking your phone up, reading a book, drawing, something. I want you to change something about the surroundings so that there's a different perspective. I also want you to move your body more. That would be very, very beneficial for this year. And then also create more, and whatever that creativity looks like, whether that's in cooking, whether that's in fashion, whether that's in visual arts or music, whatever it is, everything is creative. Create something. So create more to help you get that energy out and move it around. I would also put an emphasis on, in regards to months, I would put an emphasis on January, April, May, and October. Now, according to Vedic numerology, and I do talk about this in my Introducing Numerology guide, you have strong periods between February and March, and November and December. Now, strong periods and weak periods are something that comes from, like I said, Vedic numerology, and they're a little bit stricter with it. And this is also a older practice, so sometimes it might not feel as though it resonates too much. But there's also that weak period in October and November for you, number 3. So it's even though I did point out October, you can still do stuff in week periods. The emphasis is around not starting stuff, but I will say that if you feel that push to start it, baby, start it. Use your discernment and start it because you didn't know about week periods until just now, per se. And in knowing that just now, you've been living your life how you've been living your life, and probably still doing things actively in your week periods. So I don't want you to necessarily change that unless you feel like you need or should change that. Again, I will say, use your discernment. Now, I do really like January for you because 3 and 8's relationship is one that is very interesting, because 3 is very much big, expansive. Let's do it on the largest scale possible, but also as quick as possible. Whereas 8 is like, okay, yes, let's still do it big, but I want it to be a steady build to that big of really very much stepping up the steps one at a time to get to that platform. Whereas 3 is like, I want to jump up to that platform. So there's that little bit of difference in that. But I do really like January because that's going to be in a universal 9 energy. And 9 and 3 have beautiful relationality. They do have similar rulerships. They sit in a numerological pattern of 3, 6, 9 is one of the most common ones that is recognized. So it's a very interesting and intense energy. So there's an emphasis on power for the month of January, and also creativity and also expression. And energy work is also a very big theme for the month of January. So taking that time to move your body, like I said, move your body, move your energy around and use it to your benefit. And also working with somebody who can help you work with your own energy. I'm somebody who is very big on becoming, for you yourself, being your best spiritual practitioner, because me, as somebody who's outside of you, does not understand fully your human experience from your perspective. I might have an insight with numbers and with charts and everything that I do on my end, but I will never fully know you the way that you know you. So this is a great time to work with those people if that's something that you're interested in. And also be able to work with yourself to build a better relationship with your energy, of when you know when something's off, you know when something doesn't feel right, you can sense what's going on a little bit better. So I'd recommend that. I also really do like April for you because that's going to be in a universal 3 month. And it's your number 3. Number 3 is emphasized for you this year. So why not just tap into your natural energy? Like I said, though, with this universal 8 year, there's a emphasis on power and also building. So I will say that there's going to be a very there's a lot of space to grow, but it's also about taking your time to grow. And that doesn't necessarily mean you gotta stop doing everything that you're doing. It's just like, let's be thorough with it. It's like, okay, let's look at the details so we make sure we don't have to spin back to go and fix something that we messed up on when we could have done it right the first time type vibe. So I would put an emphasis on that. And 3 with 3 will just bring more 3 themes. So social spaces, that luck, that expansion, that creativity, that optimism, but also a restlessness, a recklessness, an impulsivity, an overworking can also sometimes be there. And an egotism can sometimes show up. So be mindful of that. I do also like May for you. May is going to be a universal 4-month. So this can also put a very strong emphasis on pushing, on movement, on just change and alteration, because 4 is a very faith-based number. It's very visually aware of it, has very strong visions, and it knows where we're headed. It wants to give us the best of the best, and sometimes that requires destruction of everything we've ever known. So it's very much having a vibe of having the rug pulled from under you, but the rug was on fire type vibe is the best way that I can describe that. So the month of May can bring a little bit of some disruption, because also how 4 and 8 work together. 4 is half of 8, so there's multiples in there, and that can bring a level of discomfort for you, number 3, because that can put a little an emphasis on things changing very quickly, very suddenly, and causing you a little bit of anxiety and uncertainty around, okay, well, what do I do next? And this is again where I say, when in doubt, when uncertain, create, move, change your environment. Stick to that. I feel like that's a very good motto for you to stick to this year. And then October, we also have that in there, and that's going to be another universal 9-month, so very similar to the things that I said about January. So overall, I really do like this year for you, even though now again, I like all numbers, so it's kind of biased, because I will not just say that it's going to be a good year or a bad year. I don't think it's as simple as that, just because you have personal numerology, and I don't know all of your personal numbers, so I don't want to mislead you in something as general as this. So if you do want to know more about your personal energy for this year, I would recommend tapping in with me or tapping in with somebody else who knows about numbers to get a personal reading for you for 2024 specifically. My books are open, so I would recommend you sliding my way if you're interested in that. But share this with somebody who has a number 3 either dominantly placed in their numbers, or you want to know about the number 3 in 2024. But thank you for listening. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Numbers with Jacari, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Peace.